Al Gore.
I'm going to tell you why I'm wearing this. This is my David Cameron crucifix. Now, David Cameron is the allegedly conservative, but in fact, I think it's fair to say, largely socialist Prime Minister of the UK. And he has applied to our new European masters, because of course Britain's Parliament has no more power to take decisions for itself, even on little things. It has applied to Europe, to these bureaucrats who now govern us, who are not elected by anyone. He's asked them for the right to ban the wearing of crucifixes in public in Britain. And you can imagine that the churches don't like this.
Wait a minute, I saw that and didn't even make an issue out of it. That's how conditioned I've gotten. Hold on, you just said banning wearing crucifix. I mean, this is beyond 1984.
Oh, it's way beyond 1984. And the extraordinary thing was that apart from a little bit in the newspapers at the time, it all went very quiet thereafter. Quietly now, his lawyers are in there applying to the European dictatorship for the right to ban the wearing of crucifixes. Now, you can wear a turban, you can wear a hijab, you can wear a keffiyeh, but you can't wear a crucifix.
I'm going to start wearing one. I mean, that's the only jewelry that I'm attracted to is a small silver crucifix. I'm going to get one.
And I'm going to tell you the story of this one, because I was at a climate change meeting in San Diego, and I was giving a speech there. 500 people turned up from all over the San Diego area. This is California. Even there are people sensible enough to know that this global warming rubbish isn't all it's cracked up to be. On the way in, I was shaking people by the hand as they came in, and one of them was wearing this very fine crucifix. And I congratulated him on wearing it and being proud to do so. And I told him the story about David Cameron applying to our European bosses to have this banned in Britain. And I said I was going to go straight back to the UK, get myself a crucifix and put it on round my neck and wear it everywhere, however embarrassing that might be for those I was doing business with or whatever, because it's necessary that we should not allow this sort of stamping out of religion.
But I liked it when I saw it.
It's very nice. And anyway, so he very kindly at the end of the meeting, he said that was a great speech, and he said, I think you should have this crucifix. Because you're going to wear it, it'll do some good, and you'll spread the message better that way than I ever can. And he was really kind. He put it round my neck, and it's been there ever since.
That's it. I'm getting a little silver one. I like the little silver one.
That's it, yeah.
I know both my daughters. I gave them both a crucifix. But, I mean, you could make the joke here, but it's not a joke. I mean, we know these people are psychic vampires. They hate freedom. They want to suck it out of society. They are parasites, but maybe they are vampires. I'm being sarcastic, but...
Well, I think what has happened is that the governing class has become dangerously arrogant and dangerously remote from the ordinary people. Now, in Europe, this is particularly severe because we are no longer a democracy. We are governed by an oligarchy. We're governed by about 30 commissars. That's the official German name for the commissioners of the European Union, who have dug us into the enormous financial mess, which I think we should now move on to. And what is happening here is that the governing class of the world thought it could get away with a treaty at Copenhagen which would have created an all-powerful world government unelected by anyone. No mention in the 186 pages of that treaty draft of election, democracy, ballot or vote. They were going to try that on. They tried to set up the euro, not as a currency, but as an instrument of grim socialistic political centralization. And what is happening is that on the climate project and on the euro project, they have failed. These people who are arrogant enough to think that they know better than we the people do, they are failing. They've failed catastrophically with the global warming scare. Everybody now knows that they oversold that one, and indeed it's now official. Because in 2008, the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration, one of the cheerleaders for the global warming movement, said that all right, there'd been no warming for 10 years at that time, but that was too short a period. But if the lack of warming continued for another 5 years, then that would prove the models wrong. And we've had no more warming in that following 5 years. There's now been 15 years, perhaps even 20 on some measures.
I saw the German government last week came out and said that global warming has stopped.
Yeah.
But they're trying to declare victory in a bizarre way.
Yes, I mean, they're trying to pretend that this is because they built a few windmills. Well, that's not going to make any difference. The fact is the amount of carbon dioxide being emitted to atmosphere is rising and rising at an ever more rapid rate as places like China industrialize. And they're not going to just do this with windmills. How far is that going to get?
Well, thank God, because from all the scientists I've had on, if carbon dioxide's been 10, 20, 30 times higher, they admit this is one of the lowest levels of carbon dioxide in planetary history. I think we should have factories producing more of it.
Well, that's what power stations are, of course. And China knows that if it's going to compete economically with the West, because it's still, the per capita income in China is tiny because they're running this ghastly communized, centralized economy where once again the governing class thinks it knows best and the people struggle under this. They've of course, they've gone for these windmills, which are a sort of fashion statement, really. But 3/4 of the windmills in China aren't actually turning. They're just there to make it look as though China is doing something about this. What you want to know, if you want to know what China's doing, you go to the annual statistical communique of the People's Republic of China, issued from Peking once a year. And they tell you then what they're going to do. And the great thing about a dictatorship is that when they publish a communique, say, we're going to do this, this, and this over the next 5, 10, 15 years, then that is what they're going to do. And they have said they're going to build 1 or 2 new coal-fired power stations every week from now for the foreseeable future.
And we can't have any here.
No. They're
shutting them down.
There are more than 150 projects for new coal-fired power stations on hold here in the United States at the moment, because while you have got the Manchurian candidate in the White House, he's not going to allow any of these things to be built. And so what is happening is that industries, one by one, are having to move.
$20 billion of our taxpayer money paid to move General Motors to China, and now China said they bought up our biggest movie theater company, and they're buying up media, and they said to influence our media. This is sedition and treason by our criminal government. It's been hijacked by globalists. Lord Christopher Monckton is our guest. We'll give you his website when we come back. Be sure and write it down and check it out and get it out to everybody. We are facing total tyranny, just like our ancestors have over and over again. We're going to get his take on the collapse of the EU straight ahead, and then a whole hour on the environmental tyrants. You are watching us on PrisonPlanet.tv. You can see Lord Monckton's website on screen and scienceandpublicpolicy.org. You can also see the Daily Mail. It's also on the BBC. Minister in legal battle to stop Christians being able to wear a cross at work. And we'll show PrisonPlanet.tv viewers via document cam a shot of that. There it is. Government's legal fight against the right to wear a cross at work brings accusations it's sidelining Christianity. Yeah, and then here's another article, Ministers in Legal Battle, just to stop wearing them, period. So that's how it always is. Take your cross down, take your Christmas tree down, which is Germanic, it's not even really Christian. But we're going to put up menorahs, we're going to put up Muslim stuff, Buddhist stuff, and I'm not offended by any of that. But I mean, why are our crosses so bad? And again, it's about, we're going to tell you what we're going to do. And there is outrage at move towards banning Christian crosses from workplace.
And remember what happened when Poland tried to ban crucifixes in school classrooms? That's
right, the Soviets tried that. That was the final straw.
That was what triggered, finally, the breaking free of Poland from the communist bloc. That was just one thing too far. And sometimes it is these apparently little things that indicate to the ordinary people that their government simply doesn't care about them at all.
Well, I think the TSA is a breaking point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that wakes people up. And you're beginning to see this now, because the Catholic Church, the bishops, unfortunately, in England and Wales, are way to the left. And they tend to go along with all this sort of stuff. They've gone along, for instance, with, they've had to close down all their Catholic adoption agencies in Britain, because the government came along, the socialist government, Tony Blair, and said, you can't operate an adoption agency unless you will send children for adoption to homosexual couples. And they said, but homosexuality is against our religion. People who come to a Catholic adoption agency do not expect to find...
Well, they're now saying that here, and they're saying you're going to pay for abortions and you're going to hire non-Christians.
But here you have proper bishops. Cardinal Dolan and all the bishops here, and some 20 Catholic organizations have got together.
They're suing.
They're suing the pants off the Obama administration, and they're saying, don't you tread any further on our religious freedom, which is guaranteed under, is it the First or First Amendment of the
Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment
of religion
or prohibiting the free exercise thereof.
I have it here, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, and the free exercise of religion. Surely,
show us that evil document.
Here we are. This is your founding fathers' intention for your country. This is your birthright. This is your constitution. I wear it close to my heart. I bring it out where somebody else might bring out a weapon, because it is a weapon. This is a weapon of freedom.
And it's based off the Magna Carta.
Absolutely. It goes right back to Magna Carta. And the rights that you have under this constitution, you must not lose them. We have lost them. Do you know, we no longer have the right of habeas corpus. We no longer have the right to not to be imprisoned without trial. That has been taken away from us. That was
Obama has the NDAA. He says he'll do that now.
That was guaranteed even before Magna Carta. In Magna Carta, it's there over and over again. Nemo imprisonator, rather dog Latin. Nobody shall be imprisoned except by a due process of law. Now, in Britain, the secret police, and we have a secret police now. It was founded by the Labour government in 1998. They were first called the National Crime Squad, then the Serious Organised Crime Agency. Now they're about to be called just the Crime Agency. These people totally out of control, utterly unreal.
Yeah, it starts with terror, and next it's everything.
That's right. They then, you know, they've
raided members of Parliament. They're spying on them.
I'm going to give you a story.
Stay there. We're back in 1 minute. Short segment coming up, then long segment. Get into the tyranny of the euro taking over England, and then we'll get into the global warming. Ask yourselves, what are you doing in this time of great challenge? What are you doing to unlock minds?